Hey, what's going on, everybody? Drama22 coming back with the next video here with the Vic Fangio ready sheet. So what you see here on the screen is the ready sheet for all of the plays that I went through in this 2017 manual. And you can see how it's broken up into different sections here. Really, 34. Okay, we're going to have our base package, our wide front. We're going to be in that most majority of the time, but we will be using over and under. And some of the calls that we use in the base front is going to be a double call. So, for example, this zone pressure swill Philly is going to be a combination of OLB fire 2, jumping back into the 34 line 3 seam, depending on the formation. So I'll talk more about that later. I think that's going to be a fun thing to kind of use. Have a pretty good package here of a mix of zone coverages, which are in the green, and those zone coverages are match zone, and then really the blue coverages are mostly all Tampa 2. There might be some cover 3 drop, but what I did was basically say that zone coverage that's not match is going to be in blue. Then cover 1 here shows up a few times with pressure, so that's in red. And then what you have here in purple are your fire zone pressures. And then jumping down here, anytime you see something in orange, those are your simulated pressures. Okay, so combination of split safety and also post safety, but they are simulated pressures. So that's how that works. So you kind of get a feel for what you see. Over here, let's jump over to the nickel front, because we're really going to have what I kind of consider 4 nickel fronts: nickel 2-4, big nickel over G, and nickel 3-3 cub are your ones that are your generic nickel fronts. And to me, dime is really just another nickel front. The dime 2-3-6, it's built just like the 2-4, except the personnel is different. There's a safety at one of the linebacker spots, and some of the way the play calls are, the way they're constructed is a little bit different too. But really, these two are kind of identical. All right, there's really no difference between this one and this one. All right. The names of the actual plays are the very first thing you see. So, for example, Brooklyn, Dodgers, Lurk, all these play names for these coverages, and then also the names that are actually underlined here are the names from the Fangio defense. I just put the actual package where you could find it, in yellow, so that's there. Overall, I played 1 to 2 games with this package. It's really good from a split safety standpoint. I think we're going to get a lot of good coverages, and I'm already kind of trying to formulate the best way to kind of work it. And all of these things here of cover 6, cover 9, we'll go into more detail when I start breaking it down on Patreon. Really, they're great because, basically you're going to get cover 2 side to either side of the field, and the way you can control it, there's different ways. You can just call it if you want. Like if you know a team is going to be in 3-by-1 and they're going to be coming out and throwing the ball to the 3 receiver side a whole lot, you could just call cover 8, which is cover 9 in the game. Okay. Or you can also package it if you think the ball is going to their best player. We can use what they call Zeus, which is a double call, which is basically putting the cover 2 side to wherever that guy is. If he's on the outside perimeter, if he's not in the outside edge of the offense, if he's lined up at number 2 or number 3 in the slot, then you play quarters. Okay, so that would be a nice little package here. You probably have that on first and second down if a team's a good passing team. And on third down for sure, you're probably going to be using that Zeus package a whole lot. But it's not necessary. If you feel like, you don't need to do that, or your corners are just that much better than the other team, we could just line up in quads, okay? We could just play cover 6. We can play cover 8. We can do those things. All right, so let's take a look also at the stuff that's in black, okay? So these are plays that are man coverage plays. So there's quite a bit of too high man coverage gel look that can turn into either 1 robber, 1 contain, or 2-man, or what they call pounder. Okay, so we'll talk about that later on. Pounder, the way I'm gonna do it in the game is I'm gonna play a cover one, because the way the corners, especially in this interior, the slot corners, they play outside leverage naturally, and then you have to put your safeties into quarters technique. Now we'll get into the nitty gritty of that, because if match is on, if match is off, it changes, and there are some formations that you need to know about where the safeties will do different things. They will actually double team certain people depending on the formation, and we need to know about that before you can jump into that. Okay, so that's going to take a little bit of time to kind of make sure you're not doing it wrong. Okay, and then coming back down here, we have our simulated pressures. We do have, one out of a single high look, one out of a two high look right here. We also have our basic fire zone. Okay, and then down here we have some stuff, some bracket coverage, which we can kind of create if we want, more of a red zone thing. And then we also have cover zero, all out pressure. And the way they do it, it's a little bit different. I'm gonna try to simulate this in the game. Um, they basically use the philosophy of send everybody. If you get blocked, one of the linebackers, if one of the guards block you, to pop back out. So most sim leagues don't allow that, so that's not going to help you if you're a sim league player. Could help you if you are playing, freestyle, whatever, head versus head to head. But at the same time, we can also not be robots about this and maybe change the rules a little bit. So maybe we can work that same philosophy, but from the standpoint of, if you're blitzing, if the running back is your guy and you have to cover him, he stays in blocks. There's no reason to just stand there and do nothing. You can pop back out, or you can just help out somewhere else, or you can, do certain things. So that's something that I'll kind of work on. There's some things here in the man coverage stuff that is in the book that I couldn't put into this ready sheet of plays, but I kind of look forward to it, because there's some nice double team stuff that they do, and I have to try to figure out the best way to kind of work it out. All right. So big nickel over G really is really the same plays. You can see there's a little bit less plays, and the 9 grab is in different play. So cover 9 for them is cover 3 seam, and 9 grab is basically 3 buzz seam weak. So what they would use that for, and I'll go into more detail when we get into it in the full playbook, is anytime 2 weak is removed, detached from the core, they want to play buzz seam. They want the safety to drop down into the hook instead of going to the curl flat. And that's only because 2 is removed weak. So we're kind of explain that as we go along. So that's kind of a call that you can use sometimes. It's not really that important. But you see everything here is pretty much the same. I don't have to go through it again. I do have also, I didn't say this also, finger, ring. Okay, these are combinations of cover 2 man, fist. Fist is just 2 men, or pounder mixed together. Or we can use the same rule like we did in Zeus and ring, where we want to get the 2 man side, the fist side, to wherever the best receiver is, and then play pounder away from it. So those are things that we can kind of work on. All right, so I talked about the dime 236. Pretty much you can go through this. Nothing really that much different here. You're not going to find a whole lot of new plays. There is one play here I think that's new, is big dime whip. So this is another simulated pressure here. The nickel 3-3 cub, really interesting how the names kind of change a little bit. But the great thing that I'm going to have fun with this is something new, is really kind of playing cover 8, which is cover 9 in Madden. I'm going to have to work this in the game. We're going to have to actually create this on that. Like in my last video, I talked about, we're going to have to call cover 4 and make some hot route changes to the corner, the safety, and also the vertical hook player. But we're going to try to play some cover 9 out of the cub, which would be really good because it should be a good run stopping front. We have quads. We have what they call Boston, which is just Tampa 2. All right. And then there's some other plays here as we go along. A good amount of man plays. There was one simulated pressure. All right. Creeper. And that's about it there. So the last thing up here to take a quick look at is the dime package. This is really, again, it's a 4 down front. All right. This is now we're going to have 6 DBs on the field. Whoever your 4th corner is, you can put a safety if you want. But this is going to be good versus the spacing of this is going to be good versus the wide 2x2 spread teams that come out in empty, things like that. Not teams where there's a tight end lined up with his hand in the dirt. So we can kind of run some of the same stuff we've been running here, but this is going to give you a little bit of spacing. It's going to help you get better matchups if teams want to go 3x1 nub and you can't get a guy to cover. This is what that's for, okay? And there is some other things that I could talk about here that are kind of unique to just this package. This package here is their magic package. So this is now really just that 2-3 box, really light box, 3 down linemen, 2 linebackers, 6 DBs, and you're going to get some 8-man drop stuff in here. You're also, I'm trying to create a pressure, which is magic belt. It's a play that it's really hard to create, but I'm going to try to use cover 3 lock and work it out. All right. This to be some long yardage stuff, and this is where you want an extra guy on the field, an extra DB to help you out in coverage, or maybe to help you out against a spying quarterback or something like that. I'm just kind of making that up as I go. All right, the last part here is just the goal line stuff. That's just, they run both goal line sets. And I have to put in there also, I just added in the 4-4 defense. They do use that in short yardage. So that's something that we got to take a look at as well. They do use goal line. They do use 4-4 personnel. Again, the 2 outside backers are still your 3-4 outside linebackers, whoever you want to put there on the outside. But it's just heavy personnel for like 3rd and 1, stuff like that. So I got to add a box in for that. I just wanted to show you where I'm at with things, guys. So I kind of went through all of this, fleshed it all out. I actually have another page of all the creepers and all the created pressures. Some of these pressures you do have to create on your own. It's not that many. It's like maybe 6 or 7 of them. I do have a little list of, step 1, step 2, step 3. I try to keep everything at 3 steps or less, all right? So come on over to the Patreon if you really want to get knee deep into this stuff. I'm going to start posting videos over there soon of everything that I'm going through. And I think instead of making it one long video to make it, so you guys have to sit through like a 3-hour video, I'm just going to make it like I'm going to segment it up like I've been doing with the other free videos, but I'm only doing this on Patreon. This is a lot of work here, guys. I don't mind giving you guys some previews of how we're doing things and some little tidbits here and there on YouTube, but I'm definitely going to just work this for the guys who really want to run this scheme, or if you're already running the scheme, you want to double check or maybe get some new fresh ideas, because I think some of the stuff I'm doing is a little bit different than some other guys. I'm using some other little different fronts and things that I noticed that I've seen from watching film and looking at the playbook. Okay, so I'm going to start posting that this weekend. Get those videos up for those guys, much as they want. I'll give them and give a good overview of this package. If you're using it for a league or whatever, go download it. Okay, and then I'll make a video probably tomorrow or Saturday just showing you all the plays again if you're on Xbox. But if you're on Xbox, you can just look at this and you can actually just go find, you can get you can make it just from this sheet right here. Screenshot it. Oh, I'm sorry. Screenshot it and you got it right here, guys. All right, have a good one. I'll talk to y'all later, man. Peace.